Don't put too much pressure on yourself or on the other person. But if she's not responding to your messages, ask yourself, what do you actually want? Move on right away. It's almost like a job interview, right? But what you should not do is, in today's video, we're talking about dating strategies, specifically for men over 40. I hear from a lot of frustrated men in the comments of my videos and on Instagram, so hopefully today's video can help. And yes, I totally understand that it's frustrating out there, so I want you to know that I hear you and I want you to be happy. So without any further delay, my name's John and welcome to my channel. The entire reason that I make videos is to help prove that you're never too old and it's never too late to make a change in your life or start something new, and I'm glad you're here. First, don't get overly obsessive after just the first date. I mean, if you really felt the spark from this person, and if you find yourself messaging them like multiple times a day, maybe take a step back. Give her a chance to breathe and maybe don't text for a day and see if she texts you. This isn't about game playing or positioning. It's more about allowing some space. You'll know if she's interested, but if you get the feeling that she isn't, more messages from you isn't going to change anything. Another way to not obsess about one person is to go out on more dates, which brings us right to the next one. Date several people to help you find the right one. Now, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, so feel free to go at your own pace and take your time. What you might find is the flip side of what we just talked about a minute ago, which is not being obsessive. So maybe you meet someone and it turns out that she might be super into you and you might not feel the same way. Don't settle for this person and waste her time just because she likes you and gives you attention if you're not interested. Just let her down easy and move on, because that's exactly what you would want. All right, next is communicate your needs, because look, it's totally okay to talk about what you're looking for right up front. So if you're looking for maybe something long-term, but she's looking for maybe a short-term casual thing or just a hookup, you need to make the decision whether that's enough for you. Because if it isn't, you're just wasting your time. And 3 months from now, when maybe you've caught some feelings for this person, things will get very complicated. Set your boundaries and stick to it. And I'm sure you all knew this next one was coming, but you need to start paying attention to your style. So check this out. I gave a talk locally a few weeks ago, and part of what I talked about was making good first impressions with your style, specifically for men over 40. And as soon as I said that, a bunch of women in the audience started giggling. They knew exactly what I was talking about. I even stopped during my speech and asked those women, so look, like, how are most men that you know over 40 doing in the style department? And they said that they all could use some help. The bottom line is, if you want a partner and if you want to find a relationship, you have got to start caring about yourself first. And one of the things that you can do to look better that requires very minimal effort that I do every day is to have a skincare routine that was designed specifically for men. The skincare products I use are from Tiege Hanley, today's video sponsor. And like I've said many times, I spend my own money on this stuff every single month. And sure, they sponsor some videos on my channel, but if they didn't, I would still use it. Tiege Hanley makes taking care of your skin uncomplicated because they provide you with all the products that you need and nothing that you don't. I would recommend starting out with their level 1 system, which comes with all of these basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, used that about twice a week, a morning moisturizer with SPF 20, and a nighttime moisturizer. And they make it really simple for guys like us because they include a little card in every box that tells you how much to use and when to use it. However, if you want the same kit that I use, check out their level 3 box that comes with all the stuff I just mentioned, plus an anti-aging super serum and an eye solution that helps reduce wrinkles around your eyes. Another benefit of signing up is that once you become a member, you'll get access to these monthly deals, 20% off retail prices, and you can also pause or cancel anytime. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring this video, they're offering all of you that watch this video a really great deal. Just click the first link down in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Just click the link down below and get started today. Thank you, Tiege Hanley, for supporting my channel and sponsoring this video. All right, this next one can be difficult for a lot of men, but you have to get used to the idea of women not texting you back when you think they should. It's gonna happen. But I will say, that's a pretty clear sign that they're just not into you. It's no big deal. Even if you really thought maybe you had something going with this person, she just doesn't feel the same way, and you need to let it go because you're not gonna change her mind by continuing to message her. Because the more you push, the more she'll pull back. Maybe follow up like in a week, but if she's not responding to your messages, let it go and move on. And this is a pretty good segue into the next one, which is don't put in a whole bunch of effort if they're not putting in any effort and if they're not into you. Because let's face it, the truth is that most people don't want to hurt other people. And it's easier just to stop texting somebody than to simply say like, listen, I like you, you're a nice person, but I just don't feel a romantic connection. Like honestly, what's wrong with saying that to someone? And I think at this age, we'd all rather hear that than silly game playing and ghosting. And this brings us right into the next one, which is don't accept game playing. And now sure, there's a little push and pull that goes along with initial flirting and getting to know somebody in the beginning, but all the silly games like maybe trying to make someone jealous on purpose is a complete waste of time and effort. Don't bother. If you feel like you have to play tricks in order to make her feel a certain way, why bother? And if you're sensing that she's playing games with you, move on right away. Because look, at this stage in life, childish games are completely unnecessary and unacceptable. It puts your maturity level out on display. You should be able to communicate what you want as a grown adult and not rely on silly games. Be honest with your intentions and really think about what it is that you're looking for, because sometimes you might not know what you want, but you have to be upfront with yourself and with the other person. Ask yourself, what do you actually want? Do you even want to be in a long-term relationship, or would you rather just be single? Coming to terms with what you actually want and committing to it takes a lot of stress off the rest of your dating life. Now, this one should go without saying, but please, don't send dick pics, period. Just don't. It's creepy, it's weird, and 99.9% of women don't like it. All they're doing is showing their friends and laughing at you. If she wants to see it, she'll let you know. If you meet somebody online, get on a FaceTime before planning your first date. It's such an easy thing to do, and it's one way to avoid being catfished. It helps break the ice, and you can learn some new things about the other person, and then you can continue to talk about those things when you actually see them in person for your first date. And if the conversation is flowing pretty freely during your FaceTime, it's pretty clear that you'll both hit it off pretty well in person. But if you find it hard to keep the conversation going over FaceTime, maybe you just don't have that much in common. Okay, next is pay attention to the red flags. If you see them, don't ignore them. Now, with that said, some red flags are gonna be complete deal breakers, and other ones are gonna be more like yellow flags. You wanna pay attention to the warning signs and see if they keep popping up, because sometimes what might appear as a red flag might only be nervous energy on your first date. So just be aware and give them the benefit of the doubt before completely writing that person off. Be flexible, don't be overly guarded, and see where things go. But pay attention to your intuition. Next is don't let her string you along. So maybe they say they like you, but they're just not ready for anything serious, but they still want to be able to see you. Don't allow it. Because like we mentioned earlier, you know exactly what you want. You have boundaries. And of course, this goes both ways for both men and women. But if the other person isn't ready, and you are, and you've shared that with them, but they're still not sure, it's definitely time to move on. Next, think twice about adding somebody as a friend on Facebook or Instagram until you guys are somewhat solidified, because it gets really awkward sometimes seeing that person pop up on your Facebook feed or an Instagram story and seeing them out on Saturday night with other people. Or the flip side, maybe feeling like you can't post that you're out with other people out of fear that they might see it and get butthurt. Try to make your dates more fun and enjoyable. Way too many people match on dating apps and then just do the same old coffee date or lunch date. I get it though, right? It's a low-key way to get to know someone, and you also have an exit strategy if you're not feeling it because it's just a short coffee date. The problem is it gets very stale because everybody's doing the exact same thing. It's almost like a job interview, right? You meet for coffee, you talk about who you are and where you're from and your past and what you like and what you do for work. And people start to get jaded because it's just one more coffee date. Think about doing something different. All right, here's a biggie. Don't put too much pressure on yourself or on the other person. The whole dating process is just that. It's a process. Even if you're getting frustrated, just try to consider it practice for the next one. But what you should not do is bring a bad attitude of all those previous bad dates that you've been on recently into your current date. If you already have your walls up, and if you're looking for a reason to not like this person, the date you're on is going to be a complete failure, guaranteed. As much as you can, go into every new encounter with a positive attitude. Have clear boundaries on kids, politics, and religion. Because if you're on the left and she's on the right, chances are that's going to be a pretty difficult relationship. Also, maybe you're older and you've already raised your kids and they're all out on their own now, and now you're in a stage of life where you want some more freedom and independence to be more spontaneous. It's probably not going to be in your best interest to date single moms with young children. But hey, maybe kids are your thing and you're totally fine with it. That's great. But whatever your boundaries are, it's still in your best interest to stick to your boundaries, because otherwise you're wasting everybody's time. Practice makes perfect, just like we mentioned a minute ago. So maybe you're recently divorced or recently single and you're just out trying to figure out the whole dating scene right now. Just go practice. Go out on dates, meet people, talk to people, learn what you do right and learn what you do wrong. It's no big deal if things don't work out right away, because the chances are you're not going to meet your next long-term partner on your very first date. It's going to take multiple dates and several bad ones before you start to develop what you can do to make sure everything you did was on point. That way you never have to question yourself if you're the one that maybe did something wrong to ruin the date. Gentlemen, life's an adventure, and what you get out of life is completely up to you. Be open to new experiences and new people, and turn left instead of right, because you never know what tomorrow might bring. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're not yet subscribed, please consider doing that right now, because I would love to have you here. And as always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.